Hello, my name is Myles McLeod and I am the author of Knights Louis and the Dreadful Damsel from Guppy Books, which is by me and my brother Greg. So with my own book, when I came back to rewriting it, one of the things I tried to do was spend a lot more time thinking about how Louis felt. So I tried to put in a lot more emotional content for him so that the reader could understand how he was feeling, which there was more. It was more just focused on the silly to begin with, and less on having actually moments where we could be serious for a little moment and have some emotion, and I think that made the book richer. I also completely rewrote the ending really and made it a lot shorter, because I think one of the little rules is if you're writing something and you're finding it boring to write it, it probably means it's going to be boring to read it. And sometimes you think, I just need to push through, and that can be useful too if you're trying to finish a first draft, because you can always come back and rewrite something that you go back and read it and go, oh, it's a bit boring. If you find it boring, it needs rewriting. And I realised this book didn't have like a really big kind of finale, and that's something it really needed. So that did change. And one of the other major changes once Bella Pearson at Guppy Books picked it up was that, because in our draft version, Greg had done quite a few drawings, but we spoke together, and because of things like Julius Zebra and Wimpy Kid, we were just like, I think we really need to just put as many illustrations into this book as possible. And so there's pretty much an illustration on every page. And the other thing I wanted to do, because when I first wrote it, I'd watched the documentary on the BBC about the birth of the British novel, and they were talking about Tristram Shandy by Lawrence Stern, and how he used all kinds of different visual forms in his book. It wasn't just words. Like on one page somebody dies, and on the next page the page has just been printed black as a kind of symbol of what has happened. And that really appealed to me. So when I was originally writing this book and then rewriting it, I added in more of these kinds of things. It's not just a story told in a narrative way. We have things like a TV interview, a newspaper. There are little haiku poems. There's a recipe. There is a medical report. There's a manual for a sword. There's a manual for some time traveling boots. So it was quite fun to tell the story not just through a normal form of storytelling, but to add in other things. There is a bit of a diary entry as well, because I suppose one of the other influences, not really Diary of a Wimpy Kid for me, is Adrian Mole by Sue Townsend, which I loved growing up. I read the book, I watched the TV show that was on in the 80s, and I've been reading the later books in that series as Adrian gets older more recently. So I think all of those influences kind of come together in a big soup, and sometimes you don't even have to try and remember those things. They just kind of, as you sit down, they just kind of bubble to the surface and help you to write a better book, or to rewrite what you've already got and turn it into something that is ready to be read by your audience. The other major changes I made to my book were I simplified some of my sentences and some of my vocabulary, because I'd been using things that were maybe a bit too sophisticated and sentences that were too long. And I made sure that all the chapters were quite short, because I don't know about you, but sometimes if I'm reading late at night, I can't read that much before I get sleepy. So it's nice just to be able to read one chapter quite quickly and go, great, I've read a chapter. So I am getting really hot here. I'm going to finish now. So I hope that's useful. I might do another one of these that's more about actual books, just to do about knights and wizards and witches, and to review them. I've got a few of them which I still need to read, like Andy Shepherd's The Boy Who Grew Dragons, and Terry Pratchett's Dragons at Crumbling Castle. And I have actually already read the first in the series of Wizards of Once. Don't know why all the books are the same colourish, but there we go. It's blue is obviously is that blue or purple? I'm a bit colourblind, so I don't know. But It's obviously a very wizardy colour. So if you have any questions, just please ask in the comments below. And if you would like to pre-order a copy of Knights of Louis and the Dreadful Damsel, you can pre-order it from all the usual places at the moment. Please support your independent bookshop if you have one. And I will speak to you again soon. Goodbye.